welcome back. I hope all of you mothers last week had a nice Mother's Day. I know it's hectic and we sit back and we get to enjoy our day. And this Mother's Day, I really realized how much time and effort we put in to our families, especially when they're babies. And as they start growing, our our jobs kind of subside to some degree. They change in difference, but our hard work of changing diapers and doing all that changes. But our life is so geared around our children, and we get so caught up in that realm of life that we lose sight of ourselves. And for some reason, that's something that really set with me this Mother's Day. And I've kind of set this message around that about how mothers in general, I mean, even fathers do the same thing, but mothers especially, you feel that you are the hub, which you are, of the entire family. You get up, you clean the house, you got dinner, you cook, your kids here, you take them there, you do that, you work, or if you're not a stay at home mom. Sometimes a stay at home mom works harder than someone that works outside the home because it never ends, nor does our other life if you're working. But a stay at home mom, especially, it's like that's who you identify as. And you lose yourself. We all lose ourselves. Everybody in this world loses themselves in their jobs or with their children or through adversity, whatever it is. We kind of just get lost in ourselves somehow. And it's all part of being an adult, I believe. And this is going to be kind of a different study today because it's going to hit some points if some people it's probably not going to set well with them. Others is going to say, oh my gosh, I know exactly what she's talking about. And I look in my life also as retrospect of I'm I know I'm getting older, but as I was raising my daughter, never wanting to be a mom in the first place, and I had my daughter when I was later in life. I was back in that day. I was 34, and it was an unexpected pregnancy, and it was something I wasn't planning for. Turned out to be one of the best things in my life. It changed me as a person. It made me become the person that I became. That good or bad, I don't know. But I think that God used my daughter to really show me unconditional love, to give unconditional love. And it really changed the course of my life and my selfishness because I was kind of selfish at one time in my life, which is an easy thing for all of us to do, but it isn't a good trait, I don't believe. But anyway, it's all getting back to the study. It's all part of being an adult, doing things for people. We grow, and as you become a parent or you start getting in life, somewhere along the world, somewhere along life's path, we heard that we have to do everything. It's on our shoulders to get everything done, and that we kind of step in the place of God. And if you've never really known the Lord, you don't even realize you're doing that. But God is supposed to be our source of strength, our source of direction, our focus, and to try to live out the golden rule, as you want to call it, back in the day. But it's just principles in life that, being nice to people and, do good to people and don't steal. And those are the things that are really important in this life. But somehow those things get they've been kind of taken out of society, really, because it's always about money, succeeding. Doesn't matter how you succeed as long as you succeed. Trying to outdo your next door neighbors or your friends. Or our life has changed. We don't look at people and have the same value systems that we had years ago. And I think parents today and people today is overall, we've lost our way. And there's a lot of anger and there's a lot of frustration. I'm off track here, totally off track. But we keep trying to do more, and more. And it's a lie. It's a lie. It's a trap the enemy has set for us. We really we don't really even get to enjoy our life because we're running from one place to the next. We're always looking at our clock. Are we going to be late? I have to pick this person up. I have to do this. I got to go here. Oh, I forgot I have a doctor's appointment. It's constant. We're just constantly running. And we don't really know what we're even accomplishing half the time. And we definitely know we're not enjoying it because we're on a pace so stringent that we don't even get to enjoy. We're exhausted by the end of a day, and then we wake up in the morning and here we go again. And I know what that feels like because I lived like that for over 35 years of my life. It just drains you, and it's where the enemy comes in and just he keeps you so off balance and so you don't really get to enjoy your achievements because as soon as you make one goal, you have five more you want to attain. So it's just always out there. Everything's always out there. And what we need to do is to sit down and realize what we have succeeded at and enjoy it for a while. Yeah, we might have some more steps or more goals we want to attain, but let's enjoy raising our children. Let's enjoy our mate. Let's enjoy where we are in life. Enjoy your home. Enjoy the car you have. Yeah, you might not be the perfect place you want to be. It may not be the zip code, but learn to enjoy and and be thankful for the successes that you do have instead of just keep trying to push like you have children in school. Let's say they make C's and B's. Well, you're not happy. You want A's. So instead of enjoying and letting your children enjoy their success at just the C's, maybe if that's what they do, or their B, yeah, maybe you want them to get A. Maybe they can't get an A, but let them enjoy the hard work and celebrate that for them. Just like celebrate it for yourself. A lot of times we don't celebrate anything of our own because we always feel like we want to be better and go to the next level. And God wants us to be able to enjoy and take the pressure off of us. That's the key, the pressure. That's why I'm going to call this study Run, Stop, and Win, because we're constantly running. And we've got to learn, why am I running so fast? I want to, stop for a moment and reevaluate stuff and make a plan. We don't ever, I know I myself, my life was always so chaotic and just getting through life. I never made a plan. I never sat down and tried to figure out, where do I want to be 5 years from now? And if I get there, how will I celebrate my success? What will I do with my success? I mean, a lot of us, we want to be successful, but for what? Why do you want to be successful? A lot of us never ask that question because we just know we want to be successful. But what does that entail? Do you want to help other people with your success? Do you just want to have a big bank account so that you can travel and take care of yourself and do everything you want and not really regard other people? Do you want your children? What is it that what's driving your success? Hopefully, it's to help other people as well as yourself, but I mean to help other people along the way and to teach people and to give somebody a head up if they need help. That's what success is really about. It's not about where you live or what you drive or how much money is in your bank account. It's what you do with what God gives you. Some people that are very not rich but not poor, they have more success than people that are living multimillionaires. Because they're content and they're happy. And that's true success. Jesus knew that we would take things in our own hands rather than realizing that nobody can do it all. We think we have to do it all. Jesus knew that we couldn't. And he sits back and he waits for us to get exhausted that we stop and say, I need help. It's such an easy thing to say, but yet it's the hardest thing to do because we have to admit that we can't do it all. And that's when you can start beginning to win, is when you realize that you have to stop and realize you can't do it all. We were not made. We are not, our body, our soul is not in the position to do everything for everybody. We can't. We can barely do things for ourselves, let alone everybody else. And when we come to that realization, a load can be taken off of our shoulders and we can start to breathe and start to realize, you know what? I might not be doing the best for everybody and trying to do everything. They need to learn to do things for themselves. And I need to learn to take care of myself, which is a very hard concept for especially mothers. to stop and take care of themselves and what they want and what their needs are. They get so caught up in life, they don't even know what their needs are anymore. I know I didn't. I just knew I had to keep helping everybody else and do everything right for everybody, business and everything else. I was like the low man on the totem pole. When God finished creating the world, he took a break on the seventh day. I mean, he made the entire world. God never even gets tired. He doesn't sleep. He just does, he can just work, work, and work. But on the seventh day, he took time to rest. And us, when Sundays come, instead of resting, we cram more into that day than we can any other day because it's a day that we can do stuff and we want to get it done because we know Monday's coming down the road. The next day's Monday and we're going to start the rat race all over again. So we never really have rest. And that's why we get exhausted. And that's why when you're driving around the roads and people are trying to cut you off and grabbing something in front of you at the mall or the shopping center or the food store, everybody's rushing and getting, and no one stops to even take a breath or to think they're going to run into somebody. They just want to cut you off and trap. It's terrible, the society we live in. And it's because everybody's exhausted. Trying to get from place A to B to C to get home, to grab their phones and start being on the phones for the rest of the evening. No communication, no interactions with people, just that phone. Just our phones. You got little kids on the side. I've seen kids at malls. Their mom's on their phone and the little kids trying to get their attention and their moms are on the phone or their dads are on their phone. Yeah, and the little kids off the side, just there's nothing. Or else the little kid has a phone and he's on his phone. I mean, if you really look around life, is this life? I mean, is this what we get up and work for? You know, I mean, no, that's not life. And in Genesis 2:2, getting back to God when he created, it says, by the seventh day, God had completed his work, which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work. If God needed to rest, and he doesn't even get tired, how much more do we need to rest? Yet we go 24/7 running day after day, year after year. It's an illusion, and it's an ever-ending cycle. And guess whose lie that is that we are living in? Satan's. And I'm hoping that this is opening your eyes to see how come emotionally, mentally, you're fatigued and how your attitude comes out when you're around in society. Because wherever you're just burned out and you're tired. And you don't even know why you're tired because it's just the pace that society has us on now. We don't have any time, no downtime. And we need to learn to take downtime. And the best downtime I can say, which I'm really doing this even for myself, and I don't even have children to take care, is put my phone down. Either you're on Facebook, you're on TikTok, you're looking at something, it's just constant 24 hours a day being bombarded by negativity. That's all it is. There's very seldom anything productive and helped you to attain happiness. Everything is fear-based in our society. Even the weather. Weather is even sensationalized anymore. When you look up and you look around you, notice no one is really ever smiling or seems happy. God never intended us to live like that. When we continually do for others who have learned to be codependent on us, because that's what we're doing, as especially once you become a parent, you get your children and you don't realize how much they depend on you, and as they're growing, they still depend on you. And as you get into the world, then your boss depends on you. We live in a society that is codependent on everybody, and nobody's really gaining the strength and the focus and the ability to think on their own and think, I can do this. They don't even try. A lot of people don't even try to do things because they have been so dependent on somebody else to do it. They just say, I can't do that. But I know my mom can do it, or Joe can do it, or my husband can do it. I can't do it though. But you could do it if you had to do it and if you chose to do it. Because we can do anything and accomplish anything if we want to do it. But we live in a society actually anymore that has taken away the desire to even learn. This new AI situation is coming out. Oh my gosh. You know, people don't even know how to research things anymore. And if they're going to start trying to research it, you're going to be getting AI information. You need to get back into some books back in the 1980s before things were really being, and they were being changed back then, but nothing to the degree they are today. With all these, people don't like books anymore because a book, it's in print. You can't change what's in print, but you can change a computer app in a second. And that's what we're living in. And this is all a major, this is something that it's prophesied in the Bible, things that's happening in this world today. The desensitizing of people, no interactions with people. You know, there was a book written years ago, 1984, Big Brother. And that was written a long time ago. Buy it, read it today. It was a prophecy of today. Actually, there was a Disney movie I watched, and it was called, I don't know if it was, I don't think it was WALL-E, but it was where everything was done. Yeah, maybe it was WALL-E. Everything was being done for everybody. And they were laying around on chairs, floating around on stuff. It was a Disney movie. I can't remember the name of it. I just thought of it right now. But and everybody was gaining weight and nobody was doing nothing because everything was being done for them. That's where we're headed. And it's taken away the desires inside of us that God put in us to achieve and to be successful in things that are meaningful, not money, not a home, not a car, but true success comes through knowing people and helping people and interacting with people. And that is what's missing, and that's what's missing in our society, and that's why our society is so, we're in a dark world. We live in a very dark world anymore. And people just don't really step back to look at it because they're so caught up in the busyness, and that's what it is, busyness, that they don't even have time to think about where they really are. I lost my track totally what I was doing. Eventually, we will become so exhausted and burned out, and you'll be asking yourself many times, and I wonder how many of you ask this, why am I not enjoying life and I feel so tired all the time? And it's because we are no match for Satan. This is spiritual warfare at the utmost. We live in a very spiritual world, like I've said throughout these studies. And it's getting darker and darker, and Satan is winning the battle, it looks like. But God wins the ultimate victory. The ultimate war, Jesus Christ wins. He's been deceiving and manipulating people since the beginning of time. And like I said earlier, our success isn't through our money or where we live. It's through a personal relationship with Jesus Christ and realizing that we need somebody outside of ourselves to come alongside of us to help teach us to begin our healing of our emotional damages that we've had ourselves and the way that we have distorted thinking now that we can do everything alone. That is Satan's one of the biggest lies, is that we can do everything alone. I know I lived like that for over 55 years, thinking I had to take care of myself. Nobody else would. That I'm an island. And no, you're not. We all need people. And we all need God, especially, to help us. Because we do not even have a clue how to proceed in life. And it's going to start showing exponentially pretty soon. And believing that we don't need any help. It's a lie. And Jesus said in Matthew 11:28-30, "Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you shall find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my load is light." Jesus knew what was going to happen with people. He knew it back in biblical days when people didn't even own a car, let alone had a computer or a telephone. They did everything for it. How liberating is that when you hear that we can come to Jesus, who knows everything and is in control of everything, and has offered to us a way of relief from our exhausting mental and physical state that we live in, day in and day out. Who would want to ignore that or dismiss it? It is not every day that anybody would come to say, let me take care of your life. All we need to do is come to him and learn how to find his peace and his rest. And the way that we learn his peace and rest is to kind of watch how he operated through life. Jesus, if you believe in him or not, he is a historical figure. He only really had a 3-year ministry of life that people knew about him. Like he was like on, I don't know, one of the top 10 people that people knew about was Jesus. He was everywhere. Everybody talked about Jesus for 3 years, what he was doing, raising the dead, healing the blind, hearing people deaf. I mean, healing leprosy. I mean, he did everything. He changed the whole world's order of religion. They hated him. The religious leaders hated him because he turned their hypocrisy upside down. He would have been on the news every day, 24/7, Jesus, for 3 solid years. And then he was crucified. They crucified him because they didn't like him. People didn't understand him. And yet he never did anything to hurt anybody. He tried to help everybody. And he did help everybody. But people hated him. And you look around in this world, it's just sad. It's sad. And Paul wrote, I'm losing my place here. Paul wrote in 1 Corinthians 10:13 that no temptations have overtaken us, but such is common to man. And God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able, but with that temptation, he will provide a way of escape, also that you may be able to endure it. So God was telling you, come to me, all of you that are weary. Paul wrote in Corinthians years after Jesus' death that no temptation, our temptation, Satan's temptation to us, all in everybody's life, is to succeed, to get everything you can out of this world, use people, do whatever it takes to be successful, totally ignoring the fact of what we really are here for, that we're human beings, that we have a body, soul. We have a body, soul, and a spirit. We need to be in balance. And when we're out of balance, that's when the scales tip, and that's why we're in the world that we live in. I mean, everybody's trying to say they're right. Everybody's trying to say this is wrong, or this is this. We have so much chaos and confusion and division in this world. How can anybody honestly go through life anymore and have peace? You can't. And that is why we live in the society that we're living in right now. Jesus is the only way that people can come together. Does that mean we're all going to agree on everything? No. You can't have 2 people in one house agree on everything. How in the world, like our world is, they think everybody's going to believe the same way? It's not ever going to happen. When you can't even get along with you and your husband, how do you think everybody in the world's going to get along? That's the lie, the deception. And that's where we need to really stop and say, I want off this wheel. I want off this spinning wheel, because it's not taking me anywhere. And once you realize that, it's eye-opening and it's life-altering when you can come to that point in life when you start realizing, how did I get here? Why am I rushing and doing? What is going on? Why my kids are controlling me. My boss is controlling me. Where is me? Where am I at in this? Where am I at making the decisions for me and what I need to do for my family, instead of buying into the lie of the world? And that's Satan. The world is Satan. We live in a spiritual realm, and this world is his domain. God's world is a spiritual world. And that's where we need to live and be in and understand, so we can alter this world. We have a way to overcome and be released from the burdens that we carry if we would just step back, swallow our pride, and reach out to the only one who can really help us, which is Jesus Christ. Have you ever played the game Whack-A-Mole at a fair? I use this example a lot, but today it really resonated with me. You go to the fair and you get that hammer, mallet, or whatever it is, and there's a board, and there's like holes in it, and there's wooden pegs like this that come up, and you hit it with thing, and where you hit it once, it comes up somewhere else. You hit it here, it comes up. That's where we are in life. We are the Whack-A-Mole game. We try to stop this problem, another one pops up, we're putting Band-Aids, I'll call it a Band-Aid, over all of our problems, trying to, go from one place to the next, never really resolving anything, but we just move on to the next thing because that's what we have to do. Nothing ever gets resolved, I know I'm sounding very negative, and I'm trying not to. I'm trying to show that this is how we live, and there is peace. We can stop. And sit back and start to realize, what is it that would bring peace and calmness to my life and my family? And Waylon Jennings sang a song once, Lukenbach, Texas. We're so busy keeping up with the Joneses doing this. We have a 4-car garage and we're still building on. It just never ends. In the book of Ecclesiastes, if you read the book of Ecclesiastes by Solomon, he was the wisest, richest man in his time, and he tells you in the book of Solomon, it's all vanity. It means nothing. All that you gain, all that you do, having all of it, it does not bring you peace, and it doesn't bring you happiness. It's in vain. It's chasing the wind. And there's nothing new under the sun. We think we're coming up with something new. It's not new. It's just redesigned, and it's called something else. AI is now what the computers were back in the early 70s. We had big, huge buildings built with these mainframe computers. Computers were huge when they first came out. They took huge buildings. And look what we have now. We got a little phone chip. And now we've got AI taken away. I mean, it's amazing. And everybody thinks, oh, look at this new technology. And all it's doing is eliminating people. Computers eliminated tons of jobs. AI is going to eliminate people's need for people to even run anything. It's going to be a computer and a robot. Have any of you really thought about that? It's in the Bible this was going to happen. This isn't nothing new. But we think it's new in society because that's how it's being marketed. But anyway, the game, get back to the Whack-A-Mole thing. And what we do is we keep running back and forth. And as we gather more and more problems as we're hitting it, all we're doing is running ourselves thinner and thinner, not ever really finishing up anything. We're just adding to ourselves, and they come back later larger and stronger than they were before when they first started, because we never resolved anything. And it just keeps building. And that's where we are in society. And that's why people are running around crazy all the time. By now, our energy is gone. We feel defeated and we're exhausted. And I know, I lived on that wheel for over 25, 30 years. Jesus knew how we would handle things like this. And he came to relieve us from the pain, weariness, and wanting to give up. It has amazed me over the years, because I've done ministry work for many, many years now, and talking to people, and they will sit and talk to you about how tired they are and how they feel so defeated because no matter when they solve one issue, another issue seems to pop up, and it's like never ending. And when I try, or when anybody tries to point somebody to a remedy, which with myself being a Christian and seeing what God's done in my own personal life, I try to relate that like I'm trying to relate this to you today, that Jesus is the one who can help you. But as soon as you say that, as soon as you say Jesus, people go, oh, and they dismiss you and they take off. They don't even want to hear it. And I always wonder, why is so many people turned off by the name of Jesus? You can say God, people pretty much kind of listen to you still, because God is I call it an umbrella. I mean, God is God, but it's an umbrella that encompasses a lot of things that people call God or a higher power. But Jesus was the incarnate Word of God. I mean, he is God, and he is a visual, and his actions were showing how God is and how he wants to help us. But people don't want to be receptive to that. And it has amazed me over all these years that they reject the very thing that will help them. And it even tells you in the Bible, they reject the cornerstone. Jesus is the substance of life. He's the truth. He's what we can be balanced by. He never changes. He's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He's always there. He's faithful. He has a way of escape, like it tells you, Paul wrote, when we're in trouble. He has a way to get us out. But for us to learn that, we have to stop, take time to read, get to know him, just like you take time to get to know your mate or a friend of yours. You don't just automatically have a deep relationship with your wife or a husband or your children even. You have to take time and learn and talk with them. And that's what you have to do with the Lord. And once you do that, you will see the change that you have, and the burdens just start falling off your shoulders, and you start to feel light, and you kind of get happy again, and you have joy again. I mean, it's not to say your life's going to be perfect, but you don't have that heavy burden that you have to carry this load on your own. He is more than able to help you, and he gives you the way of how to do it. In general, overall, in our whole society, in the world, we have one speed: fast and rush. That is the mantra of America for sure. And I'm sure in other countries as much as it is here. I only know in America because this is where I live. I know that you can't even get in your car anymore and try to go to the store without almost getting in 5 accidents because someone's trying to get over in front of you, around, whatever. I mean, the speed limit might be 100 and you would have people going 125. It doesn't matter what the speed limit is anymore because everybody's going to be going 25, 30 miles over it. That's just how it is, especially out here in Texas. But that's how it is. Everybody's in a hurry. And they don't even care if they get in an accident. They just want to get to where they're going. And I always sit back and say to my daughter sometimes now, I say, boy, people are in a hurry. They're going to get in an accident. They're going to be not only 5 minutes late, they're going to be hours late and out of a car because they're in a hurry so much. But people don't think like that. All they know is I got to get to the store and get back home, and I got to get in. That's how we live. And our soul is made up of 3 things. Just like we have our body, spirit, and mind. We have our body, spirit, and soul. Our soul is made up of 3 things: our mind, our will, and our emotions. And that is where Satan attacks us. He can't attack our spirit, and he can't attack our, well, he can, but that's where he gets us, is in our mind, our will, and our emotions. And that's how he keeps us running on that spinning wheel. And we lose our energy, and we don't even know what we're doing anymore. Sometimes if you'd ever stop and think, what am I really accomplishing for all this feverish work I'm doing? Just sit down and make a list. What are you accomplishing within yourself and around in anywhere? And what is it that you're really trying to accomplish? The Lord has a plan for each of us. In Jeremiah 29:11, it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for good and not evil, and to give you a future and a hope." That is a carte blanche statement that God gave to the Israelites, and it's one that we can adhere to, that he has a plan for everybody that was born. But does he push it on us? No. But he has a plan. And when we learn this and teach it to others so that they won't miss the best thing that God has for their life, just like our children. God has a plan for us. He has a plan for your children. And instead of having your children at the basic of family depending on you for everything all the time, you've got to let them learn to go to God and let them trust God and learn what God has for them, instead of you always trying to tell them what to do. The same in business. You have a boss, yeah, he tells you what to do. You have a guidelines, or what your position is. But outside of that, you are a person, and you are the one that prepared yourself to get that job, to work under that boss, Everybody has an order. And when you step over the order, then you get into communism or dictatorship. And you don't let people think for themselves. That is not the American way, nor is it a family way, nor is it any other way. People do not flourish under that kind of a dictatorship. Everybody has to be free to learn and understand, who am I? I am not my mother. I am not my grandmother. I am not my boss. I am not my friend. Who am I, and what does God have for me? And we all have a talent. Some of us have 2, 3, 4, 5 talents. But we have, and a parent, and like God would be the parent, is their main purpose is to direct you with what they see that you are good at. If you have a child that's good at baseball, then you want to encourage them into doing that. If you have a daughter or son that's good at art, then you want to encourage them into doing art things, take art classes, and music. You want to incline. That's the job of a parent. It isn't to sit there and dictate to them, now you got to do this and this, and you got to do this, and oh, we're going to go over here, and we're going to do here. Let it develop the way God wants it to develop in them. You just set the pace for them to go that way. They are the ones that have to have the perseverance, the desire, just like an adult, to do what it takes to succeed in whatever they want to succeed in, with the proper understanding of what success is. There's success in the field of the life, but then there's success in the field of moral value and your faith and where it happens in eternity. This is just a short period of life. We have a long period of life in eternity. And then in Romans 8:28, it says, "For we know that God causes all things together for good to those who are called according to his purpose." So if we know our plan of God, if we learn our plan, like Jeremiah 29 says, then we will know too in Romans 8:28 that Paul wrote, that God uses all things together for good. Now, why did he write that? Because we're going to make mistakes. And God knows we're going to make mistakes. But if you have a true heart and you're really trying to accomplish something, God will take your mistakes and he will use them to your benefit and to help other people. Because the end game is to help other people with what you've learned that was wrong. Just like me, I am doing these studies here. I get nothing out of this other than I'm trying to help somebody get out of the traps and help somebody maybe realize that, there's another way. I've been through a lot of damage in my life, and I'm trying to help somebody not have to go through it so much, to open their eyes early on that you're on the wrong path, that there's something you're doing. It's you and your perceptions. Like me, 5 marriages. It took me till I was 50 to realize, Terry, I don't think God wants you to you're not to have a marriage, I don't think. You're not good in relationship. And it's not that I wasn't good in relationship. It's just that I didn't know how to pick the right relationship. I kept doing the same thing over and over and over, and it was wrong. Does it make me a loser in the eyes of society? Yes, it does. But God used it to help other people see she's not a loser. And I'm going to take all of her stupid choices and she's going to use them to help some other people, especially women, not make the same choices so that they don't have to go through that kind of pain and sorrow and loss. And that's what this is how all of this even got birthed, is because of the mistakes I made, and I trusted God through them all. I became a Christian at 20 years old. At 50, I had 5 marriages. And I knew the Lord, and I was doing ministry work and doing work in church. So it doesn't make me a hypocrite. But it did show me the hypocrisies in churches. Oh, let me tell you, my eyes were wide open to see married couples knew me when I was married, and when I got a divorce, they didn't want to be around me. The white women would get jealous. They was single. They were scared to take their husband. I mean, really? I wouldn't want your husband if he threw himself at me. But people are jealous. People look at you because they think, oh, well, she's a Christian, and look at her. She's gotten divorced. She's been married 2 times. I know the Lord knows if they would have known 5, they would have probably passed out and died on the road. But the bottom line is, my daughter was treated differently at a Christian school because I was a single parent. I was shunned there because I was a single parent. Oh, I could go on and on and on. But did I give in? Did I give up? No. And now all these years later, God's using me, and I've helped people at work, men, divorces that have gone through my work that I've talked to and helped them. I mean, I've helped hundreds of people with all of the pain and sorrow I've had because God gave me the strength and He used every single thing that I did wrong to help somebody else. And I feel very successful now. I was very shameful for years in my life. I just felt like shame. Till this day, I'm usually very standoffish when there's a group of people that are very successful and married, and then there comes Terry. I mean, people that know me now, it's a little different. But when I was younger, I was the last one to get there, and I was the first one to leave because I just didn't ever feel comfortable because I knew what people thought if they started knowing who I really was. So I had to be very trust me, the damage I live with because of Satan's lies, thinking I was a loser. No, we're only a loser when we believe that we're a loser because God's using our mistakes to strengthen us, to encourage us, and to show us to be persevering and not give up. That's what we call it a loser. And we only give up when we give up, when we lose our hope and we don't believe in God. Because if you believe in God, you'll always have hope that God will do something good for you. I know this might be a little sporadic study today, but I really felt led to do this today like this. And I hope it's helped somebody. I hope that it has opened up eyes and at least made you think about what is it that you're really working for and why are you so tired? God bless you. And next week we'll get back into a regular study. Bye.